Chapter 1. The Struggle of the Mind. If you find yourself unable to focus, constantly feeling anxious, and plagued by racing thoughts due to excessive overthinking, then this story may offer you a solution. Negative thoughts often cloud our minds, but by understanding the journey of a Buddhist monk, we can learn how to find peace. Let's begin. Chapter 2. The journey begins. In a remote part of China, there was a large monastery where 500 monks practiced self-awareness under the guidance of their master. One day, a young man arrived at the monastery seeking to become a disciple. He approached the master and said, "Master, I want to know myself. I am searching for the truth. Please guide me." The master responded, "If you wish to know the truth, you must dedicate your entire life to it. It may take your whole life to discover the truth, and even then, there's no guarantee you will find it in this lifetime. Are you ready for such a commitment?" Without hesitation, the young man replied, "Master, I am ready." The master said, "Very well. I have a task for you. In this monastery, 500 monks must be fed daily. Your job will be to grind rice for them. From morning until night, do nothing else. When you are tired, sleep. When you wake, grind rice again. Do not think about anything else. I will come to you when the time is right." The young man accepted the task and began his journey of grinding rice. Chapter 3. The Discipline of Routine. The monastery required large quantities of rice daily, so the young man's task was endless. He woke up early each morning, worked late into the night, and slept in the same room where he ground rice. He spoke to no one, and no one approached him. For the first few months, his mind was filled with old thoughts. But over time, without new subjects to dwell on, these thoughts began to fade. Years passed. His thoughts diminished until he forgot his own name. The young man remained silent, tirelessly grinding rice without meditating or reading scriptures. The other monks viewed him as a fool, unaware of the transformation happening within him. Chapter 4. The Test of Self-Realization. 12 years later, the master announced, "My time is near. I must choose a successor to lead the monastery. Any disciple who feels they have attained self-realization and truly knows themselves should come to my door tonight and write a few lines on the wall, summarizing their understanding of life." One senior disciple, renowned for his knowledge of Buddhist scriptures, wrote on the wall, "The mind is like a mirror, gathering dust from thoughts and desires. Meditation is the process of removing this dust. When the dust is gone, the mirror becomes clear, leading to liberation." The next morning, the master read the lines and remarked, "Which fool has written this nonsense?" Although the lines were eloquent, the master dismissed them as mere intellectual knowledge. The disciple who wrote them remained silent, unwilling to claim responsibility. Chapter 5. The Revelation. This incident sparked conversations among the monks. As two disciples discussed it, they passed by the rice grinder, who chuckled at their conversation. Surprised, they asked him why he laughed. He replied, "The master is right. These lines are meaningless." Amazed, they asked, "Can you write something better?" The rice grinder replied, "I cannot write, for I am illiterate. But I can say a few lines if you'll write them for me." The disciples agreed and brought him to the wall. He dictated, "The mind is an illusion. There is no mind, nor a mirror of the mind. If there is no mind, where will the dust settle? The one who understands this knows the truth." The disciples wrote the lines, signing them as the rice grinder. Chapter 6. The Master's Choice. When the master read these lines, he immediately went to the rice grinder's room, waking him in the middle of the night. Handing him his staff and robe, the master said, "From this moment, you are my successor. leave the monastery and go far away. Many scholars here will resent you, as they cannot accept that a simple rice grinder has surpassed them in enlightenment. Wherever you go, people will be drawn to you, for when a flower blooms, its fragrance spreads everywhere. The rice grinder humbly touched his master's feet and departed, carrying with him the wisdom he had attained through years of unwavering discipline and simplicity. Chapter 7. The Master chooses his successor. The Master handed his staff and robe to the rice grinder, naming him as his successor. Following the Master's advice, the rice grinder left the monastery that very night, embarking on a new journey. Chapter 8. Meditation in Everyday Life. Reflecting on this story, we learn an important lesson. Meditation is not limited to sitting in one place with closed eyes. True meditation is about being completely immersed in whatever you are doing. The rice grinder was so absorbed in his task that he lost awareness of everything else, even himself. Through this total immersion, he achieved self-realization. Living in the present moment and avoiding overthinking is essential. The mind exists as long as thoughts persist, but when thoughts cease, the mind disappears. In that stillness, you truly begin to know yourself. To discover your real self, you don't need elaborate practices. Just become fully absorbed in whatever you are doing, letting your work itself become a form of meditation. Chapter 9. The Story of the Lock Expert. To illustrate the dangers of overthinking, consider the story of a lock expert who lived in a village. Renowned for his skill, he was frequently called upon to open locked items. One day, some wise men decided to test him. They informed him that on a specific date, he would be placed in a box submerged in water, and he had to unlock it to escape. If he failed, he could press an emergency button to be rescued, but would lose the challenge. The expert accepted the challenge. Once underwater, he tried multiple times to unlock the box using a wire, but each attempt failed. As his breath began to run out, he pressed the emergency button and was brought back to the surface. When the box was retrieved and given a slight push, it opened effortlessly. The expert was astonished. The box had not even been locked. This experience taught him a valuable lesson. Overthinking often complicates simple problems. Sometimes the simplest solution is the most effective. Chapter 10. The Causes of Overthinking. Many of us struggle with overthinking, which can cloud our judgment and hinder our well-being. Here are some common causes. 1. Worrying about the past or future. Shifting focus away from the present moment to dwell on the past or fear the future can lead to overthinking. 2. Excessive stress from work. A heavy workload can overwhelm the mind, causing unrelated thoughts to arise and leading to overthinking. 3. Constant fear. Fear of losing a job, failing, or facing financial loss can create excessive imagination and anxiety. 4th. Lack of confidence. Uncertainty about tasks can diminish confidence, allowing negative thoughts to take over. 5. Negative focus. Focusing more on negative aspects can trap a person in a cycle of overthinking. Chapter 11. Steps to overcome. Overthinking. The good news is that you can overcome overthinking by following these steps. 1. Acknowledge the problem. Recognize that you overthink. Awareness is the first step toward change. Once you acknowledge it, you can prepare yourself to address it. When you catch yourself overthinking, stop immediately. 2. Focus on positive thinking. Instead of dwelling on what could go wrong, think about what could go right. Negative thoughts create fear and anxiety, while positive thinking empowers you and helps you take control of your mind. 1. Practice yoga, meditation, and exercise. These activities keep both the mind and body healthy. Make meditation a part of your daily routine, as it's particularly beneficial. 2. Live in the present moment. People often dwell on past events or worry about the future, leading to stress. Learn from the past and prepare for the future, but focus on the present moment. 3. Write down what's bothering you. There's a strong connection between how you think and how you feel. Write down what's troubling you, why it bothers you, and whether worrying is the solution. If not, find a solution or let it go. Gradually, this practice will help you stop unnecessary thinking. Control your emotions. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, but you need to manage them effectively. Controlled emotions help you see reality clearly, while uncontrolled emotions fuel unnecessary thoughts. 5. Engage in creative activities. Instead of wasting time on unproductive thoughts, engage in activities you enjoy, like reading, listening to music, singing, or spending time with friends and family. 6. Accept your best self. Overthinking often leads to negative self-judgment. Remember, no one is perfect. Accept who you are, continue to learn, and stay positive. 7. Keep your mind calm. In today's fast-paced life, stress has become so common that people don't realize how it's affecting their mental and physical health. If you want to get rid of overthinking, learn to keep your mind calm. Chapter 12. 3 stories to change your perspective. Here are 3 stories that can change the way you think. 1. The blue stone's value. A poor man approached a wise sage for help with his financial struggles. The sage gave him a shiny blue stone and told him to find out its value. The man took it to various people, including a fruit seller, a utensil merchant, a jeweler, and finally a diamond merchant. Their offers varied from 1,000 rupees to 1,00,000, but the diamond merchant said, "This is priceless. Even if I sell everything I own, I cannot afford it." The lesson is clear. Our value is not determined by others' opinions. We are as valuable as we believe ourselves to be. Never let negative opinions diminish your self-worth. The frog and the pit. A group of frogs was hopping through a forest when 2 of them fell into a deep pit. The others shouted that they couldn't escape and should give up. One frog listened and stopped trying, but the other kept jumping and eventually made it out. It turned out the second frog was deaf and thought the others were encouraging him. The lesson is to believe in yourself and keep trying, no matter what others say. 3. The eagle and the chicken. An eagle's egg fell into a chicken coop and hatched among the chicks. The eagle grew up thinking it was a chicken, scratching the ground and never flying high. One day, it saw another eagle soaring in the sky and asked its chicken mother why it couldn't fly that high. The chicken told it, "You're a chicken. You can't fly like that." The eagle believed this and lived its life like a chicken, never realizing its true potential. The lesson is to believe in your abilities and not let others' limitations define you. Chapter 13. Final thoughts. Friends, I hope these stories help you change your perspective and find solutions to your overthinking problem. If you've learned something valuable, share it with your friends, give it a like, and subscribe to our channel.